Hello, faithful listeners, and welcome to All Hail the King, a podcast where we delve into the mystic, mysterious, and often macabre world of Stephen King adaptations. My name is Viv, and I am joined by my co-hosts Garen and Joe. This week, we did the crime, so we're serving our time at Shawshank Prison, where we may have a shot at redemption.
Come on, take the lead.
We've got 13 hours.
Yeah, apparently. Of good, this is like high quality MP3s as well. This isn't like the shitty MP3s.
That's
just
good.
not in
Practically MP4s.
Yeah, practically. You can practically see the visuals.
We'll have a studio with a video at some point.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can record the entire thing on mini DV. I'll find a way.
Oh, fuck.
Do you know what we should do? We should have like the Windows Media Player visualizations from like XP.
That'd be pretty sick, actually.
Yeah.
If we upload on YouTube, that's what we should do.
Yeah. This will be on YouTube.
Are you putting it on YouTube?
Yeah.
You've decided?
Yeah, it's just YouTube has got to wait a few hours to allow you to put your RSS feed in there for some reason.
Oh, okay.
I could put it up on my personal channel, but because I just started this new one for All Hail the King, it just takes a little while.
Okay.
I'll try that as well then, with another podcast that I won't name.
Under the exact same studio name.
Under the same studio name.
Yeah, don't plug our own podcast that we're currently on.
Yeah, the whole point for having two podcasts is so that we can talk about the other podcast.
I'll do that for First Time Flyers, a TV pilot podcast.
That's really good. You said that really well.
Which is also under Pod One Out Studio.
Hey.
Or Studios. It's up to debate at the minute whether we have an S at the end.
It's got an S in it.
It has got an S in the end. There we go.
We do have links to the military-industrial complex. Just don't Google into it.
We also have links to merch.
What podcast doesn't have links to the military-industrial complex?
I mean, we post on Spotify, and Spotify directly
What podcast doesn't post on Spotify?
We could be first. We could be trendsetters.
Yeah, but no one would listen to us because we wouldn't be on Spotify.
I said on our ninth.
This is a Deezer exclusive podcast. If anybody listens on Deezer, please let us know.
Honestly, I have mad respect. If anyone listens on that Indian exclusive one, I can't remember what it's called. Gary knows what I'm talking about.
What?
There's an Indian one on Acast that's like the largest music platform in India or something.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
If anyone's listening on that, please let me know. I'm really interested.
Yeah. I'm all for that.
Well, I've taken a look at the analytics. For reference, we released the episode yesterday. We're recording this one today.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope everybody enjoyed last week's episode on Christine.
Yes.
Last fortnight's episode. It's a bi-weekly podcast.
I think we could shout out every single listener.
I don't think you can check individual
you can't?
listeners.
Oh, no.
I'll log on
but
now.
you can see where they're from. So I know there's some people listening from France, some people from...
That's wild.
the
I mean,
US.
I'm pretty sure they're
just using VPNs.
VPNs.
Except you, who did actually listen in Portugal.
Good
So
for
thanks,
him.
man. You're really boosting our analytics across...
Oh, yeah, everybody's got to have a VPN nowadays.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I can't goon without a VPN. Am I right, lads?
No, that's fucked up, Joe. You're the reason it's like this.
It's okay. I've got a very vivid imagination. I just use that.
Exactly.
I have I have a CRT and I use VHS tapes to goon.
Damn.
I have a VHS tape of Titanic in Japanese. That's not Japanese, actually.
That
is
is
it? No,
that's Japanese.
I second guessed myself then. And I also have a VHS of Jesus Christ Superstar we found in Tesco last
Both
week.
of which are for me, neither of which you can watch.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We are talking about everything except Stephen King on this Stephen King podcast.
Well, no, this is just our
This
general
is our
warm-up.
warming up.
Yeah.
This is to get the vocal cords stimulated,
Yeah.
throbbing, in order to, so we can project.
This is
I
for,
don't like how you said throbbing. And
this is for the Patreon
Like,
listeners.
what are you doing?
I was seeing podcast listened by app. Spotify is like double everything else.
Is it actually?
Yes, yeah.
Ah,
so.
shit, man.
There's someone listening on Overcast.
What the fuck is Overcast?
I don't know, but we're on it.
Hell yeah.
And
Shout out to you. Oh, wait,
four people listening on Other. I wonder, maybe that is Deezer. Because it's Spotify, Apple, Other, Amazon, and Overcast.
okay.
hey, if you're listening on your...
I mean, some people can listen directly through the RSS feed.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think you're cool if you do that. Literally, if you listen on anything other than Spotify, I think you're cool. Even though I listen to it on Spotify.
Yeah.
But I have a family account. Am I a hypocrite? I'm sorry.
I'm
like the warden.
I have a family account as well, but I'm the one paying for it.
Are you?
Yeah.
I have a family account. I did used to pay for it, but when my family account goes, I'm not paying for it.
But I can't use the family account Netflix because it's like, you're not in the same household.
Yeah, we had that problem because we split all ours. So my grandfather pays for Spotify because he's the reason we have a family account, because he can use it on his Alexa, then save him getting up and changing the music. Fair. My brother pays for Netflix. I pay for Amazon. My dad pays for Disney Plus. Can't use Netflix, so he's gotten off easy with that one.
Yeah, that's gonna bite us in the ass when we come to do Gerald's Game and 1922 and.
It's fine. I'm gonna email Mike, and I think he'll send us the files.
Our friend
with
Mike.
Commentary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're on a first name basis.
Honestly, yeah.
As we might be after next week.
Yeah.
A little bit of sizzle.
Unless it's like mediocre.
Yeah, or he might be dead to me.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's one.
I'm very excited to speak about that.
Yeah.
Just so
he's one middling film away from destroying
our relationship.
Yes, 100%. I've been gassing him up for years.
So we're talking about the Shawshank Redemption.
Yes, which is not by Mike.
It's not by Mike.
It's by Frank.
It's by Frank. It's our pal Frank.
Yes.
Oh my god. I love Frank. I like Frank's strips. I said this immediately when I started looking at the DVD photographs. Did you see those menus?
Sorry, no, I was thinking of Frank.
Oh, like what?
Oh, friend Frank?
Frank.
I love Frank's fits. He looks incredible in the behind-the-scenes photographs of
with that one outdated...
Oh, yeah. It was the 90s, man.
It was the 90s, yeah.
And he had that shit on, and I'm for it. I forgive him.
Yeah, no, he's...
He could say the T slur.
He didn't. It's pretty good. Yeah.
He didn't say the T slur. He just said transsexual.
He said transvestite. That's what I said. He didn't say the T slur, but he could say the T slur.
He should have said transsexual. I think that would have been cooler, honestly.
He covered his bases. He used both pronouns.
He did. He used she first as well.
We're talking about specifically the commentary of the movie, which is very good. It's one of the better commentaries I've listened to.
Yeah, it's just Frank Darabont, whereas last time when we watched Christine, it was John Carpenter and Keith Gordon.
Yeah, that was a lot more laid back. It was less talking about the production. But in this one, he seemed to give a lot of behind the scenes.
He did. I had a lot of notes just from the commentary, and I've since getting more into home media, I've watched a lot more commentaries this year specifically. And the first time I listened to a commentary that was just by one person, it was Lee Winnell for Upgrade, and I remember thinking for that of but it's just one person. It's going to be hard to keep engaged, and for that I was really engaged. I was actually surprisingly interested in what he was saying, and same for this. I think Frank Darabont has a really succinct way of speaking, that he's very clear in what he's saying, and every tidbit he gave was really interesting.
Seems like a very smart guy.
It was 10 years on. It was for the 10th anniversary DVD. Whereas if you listen to a new release movie, a lot of the recordings take place the weekend the movie is releasing. I know
in the Simpsons one, they recorded the day before it was released.
I think it was the same on Guardians Volume 2.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's scary. That would be terrifying, because what if everyone hates it and then you just bolstering this film no one gives a fuck about?
Also, I've mentioned this to you in the past. I may have mentioned this to you 10 minutes before we recorded. But the Age of Ultron commentary is so funny, because it's just Joss Whedon I hate this movie. I hated that the studio made me do this. And it's just it's out in theaters tomorrow. I
will say one of my favorite parts of commentary since I got into him, Lee Winnell was like this. Mike Flanagan, Mike from earlier, was like
this. Are you using his full name?
No, I know. Sorry, Mike, as we know him. He was like this on. I can't remember which one of his films it was, but I watched it with commentary, and it was the same sort of thing where, not the same sort of thing because it wasn't a studio interference, but a lot of directors going "There's a mistake. Oh, Frank did it in this, didn't he? Wasn't he that's a continuity error?"
Yeah.
It's
with the car.
Yeah, I love when directors do stuff like that. They're just see that, but there? That shouldn't be there. That wasn't meant to be in shot.
Pre-cinema sins as well.
Yeah, just goes to show.
It's more endearing, though.
Yeah.
It's fine if you point out your own
You had a little cowbell
exactly.
and ding, ding.
Yeah, that'd be really funny.
Yeah, that got obnoxious after a while. So what are our relationships with this story?
I've always sort of this. I mean, this is one of the most iconic films of all time, even separate from Stephen King. But in terms of the original story, Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, it was you, Viv.
I did.
Who about
50 years ago.
50 years in real time, genuinely 12 years ago, I think, maybe GCSEs.
I remember you getting into, for whatever reason,
I started getting into reading more and reading Stephen King, and you got me the Different Seasons short story collection.
I don't remember why I got that or where I got it specifically.
No.
Maybe it's because I knew the Shawshank Redemption was in it or something?
Maybe, but that was a lovely gift. And the first story in that was Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
And that was the only one I read, which
you didn't
learned
read the body?
No, that's the thing. I didn't know the body was Stand By Me, so that was a big miss.
Was that the last story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a big miss on my part. And,
2 Oscar-nominated stories. In
yeah,
one
hell of a collection, honestly.
know.
But yeah, so I read it then. I'd watched the film, loved it, but I actually have not revisited in over a decade.
Yeah,
And
this was like one of the first, like, when you like start getting into film and you basically just go through the IMDb.
The top 250 at the first one there.
When you're just getting into films, it's kind of like the go-to of just like, oh, what do I start watching? Oh, I'll go from the top down.
Yes.
And obviously you go through Shawshank Redemption. I watched it once. I really, really liked it. I was very young. I was like 12, 13. I didn't really watch it before or since then, just because then I had 250 other movies to get through. I never did. But
you've seen Sight and Sounds #1.
I have seen Sight and Sounds #1.
Yeah,
was Shawshank on that list?
I don't think so.
No, it's kind of lost.
It's no Jean Dielman.
Yeah, Jean Dielman fucking rules.
My experience with Shawshank was I watched it for the first time before I started GCSE film studies, so I must have been about 13 at the time.
Oh, so we're all like roughly the same age.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched it again. Actually, I don't know if it was for the open day at university where I went to
Oh, you're going
study
to tell
film,
the story?
or it was my interview for there.
I don't know.
I've already told Viv about this story. So, I had my own hotel room. My parents had another one.
I do know this story. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I was just looking through what was on TV that night because it was like, well. And anyway, on ITV. This feels like an ITV movie.
It's like the ITV movie.
I could watch this.
It's Shaun of the Dead.
I could watch this over 5 hours on Channel 4 with ads in between.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
So it was on ITV, and I was like, I didn't really have a lot to choose from. It was just a random hotel. Ordered a pizza, and I was having pizza, watching Shawshank, having a great time. I was like, damn, this is good. This is a good movie. And we'll come on to this when we go through the story, but everybody who's seen it will know the famous Brooks scene.
Yeah.
During that scene, the neighbours in the room next to me started having really loud sex. And when I say really loud, I mean really fucking loud.
Maybe they were screaming because they were devastated about Brooke's story.
Honestly.
They were watching the same movie.
I mean...
like, no, Brooks! Please cut that out. You can keep that in. I think it's funny.
Sorry.
I'll leave it up to you.
Yeah. Turns out Viv was the one in the room next to me.
Oh yeah, I was getting plowed in the ass watching Shawshank Redemption.
And yeah, I had a great time watching the movie, but I think my neighbours had an even better time. And then I revisited it again this past week.
So general positive experiences all around.
Yeah, everybody had a great time.
Yeah, sounds it. But it was quite daunting going back to like something like this, which is just like so revered.
It's mythic.
It's mythic in terms of well received within certain groups, and obviously we live in a very divisive age where some people. It's just like it's not a cool movie to love.
Well, when you're told this is the best movie ever, universally agreed, you're gonna get people who are like, well, actually, I don't think it's that.
This is lame as fuck.
Yeah,
and The Godfather is like okay, but it's no Deliverance.
Yeah. Exactly.
I like Deliverance. Good movie.
So having watched a fuckload of more movies and then coming back to this, I was kind of scared of just like, oh, what if it's just going to be kind of corny? And after watching this, some of my fears dissipated and others remained.
Interesting.
However, upon like learning more of this, like I feel as though like any sort of project that you delve really deep into, you just come away with it with more reverence for it. I get it. However,
but do you?
I think I do. But I don't know, when you put anything on the pedestal of the greatest movie of all time, it's sort of asking to be sort of torn down. Yeah. At least in my head.
I mean, you can never have the greatest anything of all time. You can't say, oh, this is the best album. It's just like,
yeah, I can.
Imagine being wrong.
What's the greatest album of all time?
You ever heard of no, never mind. I feel like a fool. No, I'm scared.
See?
No, you look at me with those eyes and then everything just like goes away.
I've got a contender. Glee the Music Volume 3.
3?
What's on
Volume 3?
Let's find out.
What's the opening track? And that'll tell us everything we need to know.
Volume 3. Volume 145. Why isn't it here? Right, let me go on Google. I'd like to retract my statement.
Are you looking through this and you're just like...
That's like, yeah, these now, like, there's like 4... Out of 20, there's about 4 or 5 good Glee songs.
I can't believe this is the greatest album of all time. That's rough.
You chose like the worst number.
Yeah.
Coming back to this was like quite interesting. We saw it in the cinemas though. That was great.
We did. First time for myself, at least, trying an everyman cinema, which is like more of an upscale chain here in the UK.
Yeah. It keeps out all the poor people. Have you ever considered that? Where you're just like, oh, this place is so peaceful and clean.
I've never thought about that.
The poor people can't afford to go in.
It's like, wow, no one's talking, no one's on their phone.
Because they can't fucking afford to.
Yeah.
You in your ivory tower watching your movies with your little popcorn stuck in your teeth.
But then this is like not to go on a tangent, but this has always been my thing with cinemas, especially because for years our main cinema, for me and Viv at least, was a showcase cinema, and they're like 10 quid a ticket. That's not cheap. And I'd still see people like in the front row on their phones, and it's just like, this is expensive.
It's like, dude, go to Loiter somewhere else.
Like, we live in a poor area. Go somewhere for free.
And now we're in the fucking debauchery cine world all the time.
Yeah.
We're just like, fucking anything goes.
Hey, it's better than View.
Oh yeah. So the cinema experience was really nice.
Good luck editing that bit.
Yeah.
No, it'll be fun. I love it when there's just an abrupt cut in the podcast and just like, oh, they cut something out there.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Not all this is going in the Patreon.
Yeah, it's the mystique that we talk about in Stephen King stories. That's what we're cutting out.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you cut the parts out, get rid of everything else and just use the cut parts to make a new podcast. And it'll be completely incomprehensible and very cringe.
I like that idea.
So we saw Shawshank in cinemas and it was very nice seeing it again. Because, I don't know, just that environment helps like rewatching.
It does. I think especially as someone who's... I don't struggle to watch things and sit down and watch things. My parents often ask me, like, why do you go to the cinema so much? You can watch a lot of these films, especially because the films we watch in cinemas a lot of the time are re-releases, especially recently. They'll say, like, well, you can watch it for free at home. Why would you go to the cinema? And my answer is always, and I'm pretty like secure on that answer, if the experience is just different. You've not got distractions unless there's people in front of you on their phones, which is a whole other thing. And you've got the correct sound for it, hopefully.
Yeah, you got the best quality.
Yeah, the best quality.
That being said, X-Men was really blown out.
But the thing is...
That was the DVD that just popped into the disc drive and I'm just like, fuck it.
I think it's...
It sounded fine, though.
I'm built different. I don't notice it. But there was no sound problems for Shawshank.
No, so we had the optimal experience and able to rewatch it.
Yes, and I genuinely think that's why, because you've given your opinion, Viv, I think that's why this really hit for me.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, I do the thing where I'm going to read all of these. Thankfully, this one is only like 100 pages versus last episode, which was 750. But I didn't finish reading it before we actually watched it. I read about half, then we watched it, then I read the rest. And weirdly, I think that was the optimal way to do it.
Really?
Yeah, because it kind of got me like... Yeah, and then also, the bit I stopped, I know we haven't gotten to the plot as yet, but we've mentioned Brooks. The bit I stopped was the bit that talks about Brooks.
Yeah.
And in the book, it's a paragraph.
Yeah,
and in the
I did
film,
see in the research. Yeah. It's just like they've really expanded upon that character.
Yeah, and that really hit. And I mean, we'll go into it more later, but that bit and just the rest of the film from there and having the basis of the book.
Yeah.
But not like knowing every key detail really just kind of set me up to...
This kind of has the opposite problem that... Not even... This has the benefit that Christine didn't. Well, obviously Christine was like a tome, and this is like 100 pages. Yeah. And Frank Darabont was able to expand on this in a lot of ways that really benefited it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'll just say again briefly now of like exactly what you said. Last week, I thought the film cut down too much of the book. This week, it's the opposite. It's like the book is so short, and yet the film was able to expand on it so much. What's your thoughts, Garen?
I think it's, having not read the short story, I think it's, from everything I've heard, it takes everything that works on that and builds on it in a cohesive way that helps elevate the story. Obviously, Brooks is barely a character.
Yeah.
There are changes that, if I were to read the book, I would be intrigued about, like the whole thing with Tommy.
Interesting. We'll chat about that.
Which I think in the movie that works very well. So that would be like a change to the system. And also in the book, I believe there are 3 wardens.
Yeah, so there are changes. Should I get into some like details and history of the book?
Yeah, go for the book.
So the book is called Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
Obviously,
Stupid title.
it is a stupid title.
That title.
In I can't remember one of the documentaries or maybe the commentary. They were like, people ask why we changed the title. It's because it's a bad title.
Well, funny, because like in all the documentaries about it, they constantly mentioned how people found the title "The Shawshank Redemption" itself kind of a mouthful.
Yeah.
The Skimshore.
The skibbity skim blank redemption, and it's just like, come on, man, it's not that hard.
Yeah, and I know it's like we live in a post Shawshank world. But like, it's not like it's a complicated word.
Yeah.
It's 2 syllables.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also one of the reasons I find that such a weird title is obviously it's because of the Rita Hayworth poster. And in the film, the poster changes, and I was thinking, like, oh, does that not happen in the book? No, in the book, the poster changes as well. So Rita Hayworth is only really relevant for, like, that first conversation of, I want you to smuggle Rita Hayworth in.
And also the film scene.
Yes, in the film scene.
Which wasn't how it was in the book.
No, it wasn't.
No. So, the book is a novella written by Stephen King, of course, although
Basically,
a lot of people
that just
forget.
means it's, like, it's not really a book. It's too pussy to be a book.
Yeah, it's like a little bitch version of a book. It's a short story written by Stephen King. I know we're on the Stephen King podcast, but I found a lot of interviews where Stephen King has to convince people that he wrote it.
I know, this was like one of the first big books where he doesn't really dive into horror.
Well, I think that's what's interesting about Different Seasons as a collection. So Different Seasons was published in 1982 by Viking Press, and it featured Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption. It also featured The Body, which would later be adapted into Stand By Me, which is another one of Stephen King's well-loved non-horror short stories. I just want to quickly double-check something.
So
so
the
Stephen,
third one
the
was
other...
also adapted. It's less revered.
Yeah.
What one was it?
I don't remember the title.
I know that basically Different Seasons is a collection of more drama-focused novellas. It's Apt Pupil and The Breathing Method.
Oh, Apt Pupil.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was Apt Pupil.
That was adapted into film in 1998 of the same name.
And do you know who directed it? Do you know who directed it?
Is it Bryan Singer?
Yeah. It is Bryan Singer.
We recently watched the
X-Men.
first 2 X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Well, I did.
Yeah, we only watched the first one.
Yeah, sorry.
You're forgiven. You saved me from a little more Bryan Singer.
That's true.
Yeah. Hey, say what you want about that man, and you should.
You absolutely
You
should.
should.
He knows how to make a damn good X-Men movie.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
We'll talk more about him on our
We will.
Apt Pupil episode.
We will.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we will. We'll get to it. So, it was a collection of 4 short stories, mostly focused on drama, because Stephen King, when asked about his more drama-focused thing, I'll paraphrase his quote, but he said he's not necessarily just interested in horror, and even then he feels like horror comes in lots of different ways. So he makes a reference in this interview to Friday the 13th, and how, when you go to see a Friday the 13th movie, you want to see them get killed with arrows and chainsaws, but when you go to his books, he doesn't want it to just be about, like, horrors in literal scary things, but more in what happens with the characters and in the characters' lives. So he doesn't explicitly say he considers like Shawshank Redemption, as example, a horror movie, or The Body a horror novella. But when you think about it, the stuff they go through in the prison is horrific.
Yeah.
The stuff the boys go through in Stand By Me is horrific.
This might be the most horrific.
Yes,
horror
exactly.
story written by Stephen King.
I couldn't find any
Horror
information.
of the prison industrial complex.
Exactly. I couldn't find any information,
American Dream,
unfortunately,
baby.
on why specifically Stephen King wrote Shawshank. Like, it's not like with Christine where there was an exact
I've seen somewhere
thing.
it was just like he just...
There's a lot of theories.
Yeah, that he was just like really into prison break movies.
Yeah,
the
there's
time,
a-
so he wanted to cover that sort of subject matter.
He's very outspoken on his love of Birdman of Alcatraz.
Yes,
Yeah.
which was an influence on the film as well.
Yeah.
That seems to be
makes
most
sense.
likely.
Specifically the character of Brooks, because of The Crow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
Shout out to the Crow.
Shout out to The Crow, good actor.
Crow. Yes, great actor. I love the Crow.
Did you appreciate the bit in, I think it was the commentary about the animal rights?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that was really funny. Yeah, they couldn't kill the maggots.
Yeah. Even though it wasn't a real maggot.
You have to die of natural causes.
Yeah.
fantastic.
You can hear more about this in the commentary. We're not going to steal Water Bros.
If they didn't have that, though, they'd be killing horses left, right, and centre on film
Yeah,
sets. You just know
exactly.
it. So I guess I'd rather that.
Yeah, I'd rather that as well. I just read a typo in my notes.
Yeah.
I'll get to it in a second. But yeah, that's all my notes on the book, except that it was then later developed into a film.
It was. But one more note on the book.
Yes.
Each one is designated a season, right?
In different seasons.
Yeah. So,
That's where it gets its title.
Yeah. So, and Shawshank is specifically. I'm just mentioning it because I think it works thematically. It's specifically the first one, and it is spring,
Yes.
and spring sort of connotes like a rebirth
Yes.
in a way, like. And I think it just sort of works for the themes because, like, the body is it's
Like
not
fall?
summer. I think it's fall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like to do with decay. But the story has to do with like redemption and rebirth.
I'm a Dumbo.
Wow.
I'm a big, big Dumbo.
Why are you a Dumbo?
Hope springs eternal.
Yeah.
After Poople is summer of corruption.
Yeah.
It says it in the fucking book.
Yeah.
Fall from innocence, the body, and a winter's tale, the breathing method. It says it in the book. I mean, I'm staring at my phone like, seasons? What? Like looking at the title.
Yeah, but beyond that, they do work like thematically.
They do, yes, they really do.
But yeah, so the book came out, and it it hadn't been adapted for a while, even though there was like a big wave of Stephen King adaptations. When did Stand By Me get adapted?
So Stand By Me got adapted in 1985, 3 years after different seasons released.
Yeah, so it was like the first one.
Yeah, and there'd been a few Stephen King adaptations to that point. I think 1983 was the apex, where you had Christine, you had...
Listen to our episode on Christine if you'd like further information. Thank you very much.
You had The Dead Zone, you had Creepshow the year before. It was the first non-horror one of his to be adapted. Non-horror as in, generally,
focus,
broadly speaking.
Yeah.
And that was directed by Rob Reiner,
Yes.
who, off the back of the success of this, set up Castle Rock Entertainment.
Famously, Seinfeld.
Literally got a note here that just says Seinfeld.
Great minds.
But Castle Rock, obviously, if you're listening to this, you may already be aware. Castle Rock is
Pretty iconic studio.
Yeah. It's also a location prevalent in a lot of Stephen King books. But yeah, it was the first real success for Castle Rock, and Rob Reiner in the 80s was just on.
Yeah, he was on fire.
After hit.
Yes.
Like Princess Bride,
Yeah.
Spinal Tap,
Yeah.
yeah, Misery.
Yeah.
We'll come on to that also. But yeah, he was a big deal in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that Frank Darabont would go to Castle Rock. In interviews, you'll say, Castle Rock is the first and only place I took this story, because they would understand the nature of what we're trying to accomplish by telling this story.
And Frank Darabont is an interesting character, isn't he?
He is an interesting character. So he first really got into film when he was at film school, and he adapted a Stephen King story.
Yes, he did.
The Woman in the Room?
Yes, the woman in the room.
Yeah, because he bought the rights of Stephen himself.
Yeah, for
how
$1.
much?
Crazy.
For $1, yeah.
Honestly, we should do that.
Same.
He still does that, doesn't he?
No, it ended in 2023.
No!
This is the Dollar Baby scheme, which
Yes.
at some point we might actually explore some of these. There's shorts which...
Oh, yeah, that'd be a great episode.
That would be.
It's just shorts which are licensed out to young up-and-coming filmmakers for $1, as long as they're not commercially sold, and Stephen King retains the rights afterwards.
Yes.
And it lasted for 40 years.
I've got to say, I big up Stephen King a lot, because I do have a lot of respect for the man.
Yeah.
Not only as a writer, but also, frankly, as a person, because... in a world where a lot of people are making a lot of their opinions known, he has somehow managed to stay relatively unproblematic and on, the side of human rights and basic, decency. But when I didn't know about the Dollar Baby scheme, until this, and that's just added in a whole other like.
But it's also
level
just
to
smart.
Him. Yeah,
because it's just like these are going to be like very small adaptations, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it's just going to like bolster up and make him more well known in these spheres.
Yeah, it's
within
free
filmmaking.
advertising.
It's free advertising,
advertising.
and also you're training young filmmakers to adapt
you're helping
work.
the industry.
You're like helping the industry. It's just smart.
And he actually keeps, I think they're tapes or, maybe DVDs now. But he used to have, like, his favourite ones on the shelf.
Oh, that's lovely.
There's quite a lot of them being produced, so if and when we do come on to this, I think we've got quite a few we can talk about.
Frank Darabont, he adapted that, but he also wrote a bunch of screenplays as well, didn't he?
Yes, so...
Go on, off the cuff. Go on.
A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Child.
Yes.
Not Dream Child, Dream Warriors.
Dream Warriors.
We watched that not long ago. Great
I love
film.
that one.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
The Blob, which I watched recently.
Yeah.
I wasn't as enamored by it as
But it's pretty
some
like,
people
well,
are.
yeah, some people love that.
I think the highlight of that movie is the direction, directed by Chuck Russell, who actually does get a little shout out in Shawshank.
Yeah.
He went on to do The Mask and The Scorpion King.
yes.
Wild career. Frank Darabont, he wanted this to be his first real film, but he tried his hand at a TV movie.
Yeah.
Because he wanted some experience. But also he was offered to direct another film before this. And
I know, it's a Child's Play movie. I know, I can't remember which one.
Child's Play 3. Because the second one was directed by John Lafia, who worked on the first.
Yes, it was,
And 2 and 3 were pretty much concurrent productions.
Yeah, and that's why they're both good.
I know you don't like 3 at all.
I hate
three
Child's Play 3.
3 is a fun movie.
Okay.
It's not a good movie. Yeah. Child's Play 2, though, masterpiece.
Child's Play 2 is a banger. I love Child's Play 2. Anyway.
It's been too long. I don't remember 2. But okay, anyway, digress.
No, we're going on a tangent. Child's Play 2, that climax, the ending of that movie.
In the toy factory with his... and he introduces his foster sister, who's, really cool. Kyle.
Yeah, I prefer 3.
That's really interesting.
You're insane.
I am insane.
We need to rewatch both of them.
All right.
Because you're wrong.
Okay.
You prefer... Why?
Because it's fun to be different sometimes,
You and I have opposite mindsets.
You want to conform.
We've been talking a lot
I want to
recently.
reject.
Yeah, we're talking a lot recently about how I kind of recognised in myself that I really do try and change my opinions to fit the masses.
I think you're being way too harsh on yourself. I'm a conformist.
No, in the sense
I
of
am
like,
basically a
if
Nazi.
a film comes out that I don't really like that much, but everyone else loves, I'll be like, well, yeah, it's good. I'll just lie, essentially. I will lie.
Is this all because you didn't like it when we all enjoyed I Saw the TV Glow and you didn't?
I think just like there's gotta be
not necessarily.
something.
No, it was surprisingly not, but it was another horror movie. It was after Bring Her Back that really got me recognising my feelings. And then same with Christine, where at first you seemed really big on the film and I seemed more middling and bigger on the book. And I was like, what if I'm wrong?
Joe, your feelings are always valid.
Thank you. Yours
Honestly,
aren't. I can't believe you like Child's Play 3 more.
I know. Yeah. You've taken me down a couple pegs now.
So speaking of Frank Darabont and the $1 deal. So after... I can't remember, in my note it doesn't say before or after, but Darabont gave Stephen King a check for $5,000 and Stephen King never cashed it. He framed it and returned it to Darabont with a note saying, in case you ever need bail money, love Steve.
Oh, that makes sense. I was wondering, why did he write that? It's because it's a prison movie.
It's a prison movie.
That's so smart. He's such a good writer.
Yeah.
Nothing, it's just later on in his career, he did seem to... I didn't know he did The Walking Dead.
Yeah, only the first season, though.
Only the first season, which people consider the best.
He also went on to do more Stephen King adaptations with The Green Mile and The Mist.
I was surprised about that, because he expressed how he was kind of insecure about going into The Green Mile right after Shawshank. Because they are quite similar. They tackle a lot of the same themes and obviously the setting.
Yeah.
Green Mile's a bit more mystical.
Yeah.
A lot more mystical.
Yeah, there's magic.
Well, this is entirely grounded in reality, whereas Green Mile's not.
Yeah.
Well, almost entirely.
Almost.
We'll get onto that.
In a way, it's more...
Yeah, I get what you mean.
It's almost biblical.
Jesus.
It's interesting that he wrote these horror movies early in his career.
Yeah.
And obviously had a passion for Stephen King. He talks about how The Shining was the first King
Yes,
book
I loved that story.
he ever read. But he didn't end up doing a Stephen King horror adaptation until The Mist, which was his third and final King adaptation, at least as a feature.
Yes.
It's just an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah. No, he seems to be like the perfect pick for this sort of thing. It is surprising. This is like his. I know not technically his first feature, because obviously he had the TV movie, but it's like his first big one.
Yes.
This is where he made his name.
Yeah. Genuinely.
He got an Oscar nomination for Best Director out of it. You know,
He did.
The
Yeah.
movie had 1 million Oscar nominations.
Yeah. 7 Oscars and it won none.
Well, that actually brings me on to something I do want to talk about a little bit later on. We'll just say we'll come back to the Forrest Gump of it all.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Forrest Gump. But yeah, before the movie came out, there was a trailer. Stephen King, first of all, his name was not included in the advertising, specifically because I don't know who made this decision down the line in terms of the production, but it was basically afraid that his name was too linked to pulp horror, and that even though he wrote the book, they were afraid that if people saw his name, it would put them off, which I think is interesting. I can actually understand why that would be a worry, but
Scary
also the
prison movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they would have assumed people would think it was more of a horror just by seeing his name, even though that's pretty clear from the trailer that it's not.
It was the 80s. People didn't read.
Well, it's kind of similar to how Mel Brooks produced The Elephant Man, but his name was just like not included in any of the marketing.
Yeah, he didn't want to think people thinking it was going to be a comedy.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting because, you know, a lot of people say about like modern Hollywood, modern media in general, about how like you've got to have a name on it. And, you know, attaching like the name of an author to a property and be like, oh yeah, we based it on this book. A lot of the times that's seen as a way of like already getting an audience. And
I guess we sort of take it for granted, though. This is like probably one of the bigger examples to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So
And,
I just think it's interesting.
And in the 90s, there were still Stephen King adaptations coming out. They were still relatively big.
Yes.
I don't think they reached the highs of the 80s.
Yeah, do you think he lost his prestige for a while?
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to a lot of the stuff that came out in the 90s were the miniseries.
Yeah.
And
a lot of TV
not
movies.
to disparage the miniseries, we will be talking about some of them quite soon.
Yeah.
But not all of them, and I'm thinking of one in particular, can really live up to the written word. And maybe people just kind of got exhausted by Stephen King at that point, even though Misery, which I would say is not... Well, it is a horror, but it's not like it.
It's not the same type of horror as some of the other ones he writes.
It's not like cosmic horror.
It's grounded.
It's more akin to this, I feel.
Misery is that sort of middle ground between drama and horror, because again, it's a situation that is horrific, but until right at the end, a lot of the things happening is more drama than inciting fear.
Yeah.
So when Frank Darabont took this to Castle Rock, he got offered between $2.4 and $3 million for the script, on the proviso that Rob Reiner be allowed to direct.
That's an insane amount of money for a script, right?
Yeah. But also, this went around Hollywood and everyone's just like, you need to read this script.
Yeah, to be fair.
This is like
one of the biggest
script.
compliments I can give is like the script is tight. It is like immaculate.
And he talks about his writing process, which sounds like hell.
Really? I didn't see much about that. I'm interested.
So, like, for 8 weeks straight, just locks himself in, like, his home and writes for 12 to 6 hours a day. 12 to 16 hours a day.
That's fine. I'm going to be entirely honest. I feel like I benefit from writing like that.
Or just locking yourself up and just...
Not for that long a period, but I've written a book. I forget a lot of times.
Yeah, you've written a bunch of things.
I have actually. But I've written a lot of the things I've written have been small, except for one thing that's not seen the light of day yet, but it is a novel. And a lot of it, like, I remember speaking to you about it when I first started, and it took me like months and months. I write in the same way I read. I always start off really slow, and then near the end, there would be like 2 weeks where all I'm doing is writing. So I can kind of see how, when people say that they write like that, I can see how it works for them. Because when you sort of exist in that world you're working on, you almost don't need to jump back in. I'm not saying it's healthy, but it works for him.
No, he did speak about how, like, he was only able to do this because of, like, his previous success with, like, the horror writing stuff.
Yeah, and he actually bought the rights, that $5,000
that
you talked about, with his paycheck from Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
Hell yeah.
Yay.
What I often find when I read or, listen to interviews from writers, just like, this is the process that I follow. No. There's This may sound very counterintuitive, but I hate hearing about advice on how to write.
I agree.
Everyone's got a different process.
1,000% agree.
If you try telling me how to write, I'm just like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it my way because I'm writing my story.
Yes.
How's Gremlins 3 going?
With that 2.4 to 3 million, however much he was offered, he declined. He said he wants to direct it and instead took a paycheck of $750,000, which is still pretty good.
Yeah.
I know, but like
Imagine
a third,
yeah.
less than a third.
Imagine like haggling someone just like, look, give me less money so I can do more work for you.
Damn.
Yeah. But that just goes to show how much he cared.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
you can tell this was
Yeah.
a passion project for him.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if anybody would have. Well, I don't know if anybody could have adapted that better than Darabont doing it himself.
They got approval from Castle Rock, and then they started production. Then
Yeah, so
did.
Liz Glotzer, one of the producers. From
yeah, she
Castle
showed up in a bunch of the documentaries. She was like quite
Yes.
pivotal in the production of it.
Yeah, because she threatened to quit if they didn't produce the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like pretty high up there, and it's just like, well, we don't want to lose her. So even though this is a prison movie, it's not really like a guaranteed box office success.
Which they were right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna go ahead with this anyway. And when Reiner was gonna direct, did you hear who he wanted to cast in the lead? roles?
I'm just looking at this right now. Tom Cruise is Andy. Harrison Ford is Red.
Look, I think they're both solid actors. I can see
One of them's white.
I can see Harrison Ford as Red more than I can see Tom Cruise as Andy.
Viv,
Yeah.
why does it matter that they're white?
No, I'm saying that's a bad thing.
No, I'm saying that...
It's because he's Irish.
Yeah, it's interesting because obviously the fucking social climate of today, any race change in between adaptations is like an immediate garner for controversy.
Go on, you can just say woke.
And yet, yeah, the woke liberals. No, anyone arguing against woke. And yet, one of the most interesting facts about this I find is just in the book, Red is a white Irishman, and they still cast Morgan Freeman.
I love that they didn't change the line. It makes it
I
so much
love
funnier.
Yeah,
that.
it does.
I think it's so funny.
Yeah, didn't Liz Glotzer suggest Morgan Freeman?
Yes.
Yes.
And as soon as that was
Yeah, 'cause they-
floated, they were just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, because
that's
Frank
perfect.
wasn't like immediately like
No,
like,
he'd had this story in his head for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
He was like, I know this character. Morgan Freeman, I think, genuinely,
This is
one
like
of the best casting decisions.
Yeah, yeah. This is like one of the most iconic
Ever.
roles ever.
Yes, yeah.
And especially with like the ton of voiceover with it, you need that.
That voice.
Beautiful.
This is where the
Yeah.
whole Morgan Freeman reading the phone book
Yes.
comes from, really.
I'm reading the phone book. That was a pretty good one, wasn't it?
But yeah, there were two actors who were actually formally offered the role of Andy Dufresne, who both passed. First of which was Kevin Costner. He had recently come off the success of Dances with Wolves. He declined, obviously. And the other one, which we're going to talk more about him later on, was Tom Hanks. But he would ultimately see the error of his ways and
For
work
Red or for Andy?
for Andy.
Andy?
I could see Tom Hanks as Andy.
Yeah, he's got that sort of purity
Yeah.
and that sort of glint in his eye.
And obviously, he would go on to work with Darabont on a Stephen King adaptation of a prison.
Yes, exactly.
You better do another prison movie and hire me, you fucker.
Yeah. But some other names that were floated for Andy: Gene Hackman, Robert Duvall, Clint Eastwood, Paul Newman, Johnny Depp,
Ugh.
Nicolas Cage,
Yeah.
and Charlie Sheen.
Ugh.
Could you see any of those working?
Well, no, it's just like
No.
this at this stage in film
Imagine if
history.
Nicolas Cage was Andy Dufresne.
Well, this is like
Honestly, he's the one. The thing is, we're looking with decades of hindsight.
yeah.
But I think what's interesting about this is, Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman fit so well in these roles that you kind of can't imagine anyone else. But even if you just did imagine, say, Charlie Sheen, I don't think you'd look back on this role as much, like in this movie, as much and be like, oh yeah,
There's something
That was
Tim Robbins
magical.
does with his eyes.
exactly.
Yeah.
His face acting is incredible. I honestly think, arguably, he doesn't get enough credit because Morgan Freeman is such a
Yeah.
Yeah, so
scene stealer.
when it came to award season, Morgan Freeman got an Oscar nomination for Best lead actor. Nothing for Tim Robbins.
Got it.
He did get nominated for the Screen Actors Guild Award, I believe.
Yes, I think so.
Alongside Morgan Freeman. They both lost to Tom Hanks.
It's ironic.
Yeah.
But it was good that Tim Robbins got chosen because he brought along
Roger Deakins.
Roger Deakins.
He did.
Honestly, this movie is so beautiful.
It's
It is.
gorgeous.
It
I
is.
forgot it was him until like the helicopter shot was happening. I was just like, oh yeah, this is Deakins. This looks incredible.
One thing I do want to say about the movie is it uses a very restrictive colour palette. Obviously, it's in a prison. It's not going to be...
Yeah, it's like blues and
Blues, greys. Yeah. Cold colour palette.
But I find that it's got a very strong use of light and shadows.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Which,
noticed that.
when it comes to Frank Darabont, he made The Mist 13 or so years after this, which famously has a black and white version, which people regard as being a much superior version. Mm-hmm. I think Shawshank would work quite well in black and white.
like
Probably would, yeah.
yeah, as well because of like the subject matter as well. Considering its homages to like a lot of classic Hollywood pictures, it would just kind of make sense.
Yeah.
I would feel. Plus, like the reliance on like shadows and like the architecture of the entire prison, like that would look incredible in black and white.
The prison, I got some notes about this. The Ohio State Reformatory.
Yeah.
Yes, where they filmed.
Out of not in production. What would you call it when they don't use a prison anymore?
Commission.
Out of commission.
Yeah.
For a while.
So this place had a load of architectural references. They wanted it to have very high ceilings so that the prisoners would feel like they're always looking up to God.
Oh yeah. Genius. Because it ties into the themes of the movie.
Yeah. It's a gorgeous Gothic design. It's like
It's like
it's a hodgepodge of ideas, but it all works.
it's like Dracula's castle at some points.
Yeah.
And the prison was shut down in 1990 because of its inhumane living conditions.
Yeah.
Which, if you've seen the documentary with Mark Kermode, which is
Yeah.
on the physical media release, that place was fucked up.
Yeah. I know some of them were just sets. Like the
Yes.
main cell block, that was a set,
That
wasn't
was
it?
a set.
Yeah, so in the actual prison, the Ohio State Reformatory, the cells did not face each other,
Yeah.
which is something that Darabont very much wanted.
Yeah, it works a lot in a ton of the scenes.
Yeah,
It
especially
it makes
the scene where they first go into the prison. And
Yeah, yeah.
fish.
Yeah, new fish scene.
but it makes it feel like, although the actual one is incredibly claustrophobic, by having them face each other, it creates an almost like panopticon.
I was going to say a panopticon. It's interesting considering, the escapism aspect of it all as well, like the literal escaping
Yeah.
the prison, and how you've got to consider that. I mean, we get the one shot of him carving at the wall and then looking to see if anyone's there because there's a chance that someone could have just been watching.
Yeah. But they did like repair some of the prison in order to film it actually within it, including scenes that weren't in the prison.
Yeah, so like the bit with Andy in the tube was filmed in...
Yeah.
Yes.
in the prison.
Also, Brooks.
Yes, it was in, the, like you said, the opening shot of the prison where Deakins flies over. It's in the top of that building. That shot as well. It's just...
Yeah.
Yes.
God.
500 extras, I think.
I just want to say this film, like, it feels like it has such a massive scope considering it's just within like mostly a prison. It feels huge. Just like with the way it's shot and like that shot with like all those extras. It's incredible. One of my favorite things in films is crowd work.
Yeah.
When you can just like coordinate that many number of people, it just gives it a massive scope. I love that.
I think that
And
really
it's-
works as well with the subject matter.
Yeah.
Like, almost like, the prisoners feel like ants or
Yeah,
cattle.
yeah. Or even like to go into like the sort of biblical reasons, like looking down, like God looking down on these people.
Yes.
So with the cinematography by Roger Deakins, the ideas and how the camera is moving, Frank Darabont took from Deakins, who was more seasoned than him. So there's a lot of times where instead of having cut to an actor, lots of different setups, you just do it in one shot.
Yeah.
I loved that aspect of it. One of my favorite things in cinema is basically a one shot, and it's impressive when they do, if they do something impressive in a one shot, like have it going on, have lots of stuff moving. That's great. But I honestly think it works best for conversations, and that's what they use it amazing for in this film.
I always think of that one shot in Jaws where they're going on the boat.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
It just works.
Covers everything you need.
Especially as someone like, I mean, Viv knows since she's my cinematographer on my YouTube videos. And I know that's very different because that's me talking to a camera. But it's the same sort of idea in my head of just because we want to make a film, essentially, don't we?
Yeah.
Eventually, that's something we'd love to do together. And we really like mumblecore movies.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just long shots of people talking.
Yeah.
And that's an aspect of this
But
film
it
I
is like a genuine skill in order to like capture these scenarios in new and
Yes.
different
It's
ways.
economical.
Yeah.
It's in service of something.
But then you also still have to be creative with how, say, for example, if the camera is moving, when it needs to get on a certain person,
Yeah.
how you layer the scene to make sure it all visually fits and you're not
The
distracted. The blocking. I love blocking.
And with film specifically, and photography for that matter, it's not always what you show, it's what you don't show.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
And-
what you imply.
And clearly, we don't see much of the outside world.
No.
in this
No.
movie. The only time we really go out of the prison is when Brooks leaves.
Yes.
And that's to sort
And
of...
when Red leaves.
Yeah, but...
That's the end of the movie, so that makes sense.
Aside from, the book ending,
Okay, yeah.
the only time we really leave is with Brooks, and it's there to illustrate some people just can't make it outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It carries like
There
this.
are more walls outside there than in the prison.
Yeah, it suggests that with the cinematography. Like, there's a ton of like.
Him in the bus being really enclosed.
Yeah. It like
He looks
emulates.
so scared and
That shot. So I'm quite an emotional person, especially when watching films. There's just something about the music and the acting that gets me. I find myself getting easily invested if I care about a character. Going from reading the book where essentially it's implied that Brooks commits suicide.
isn't he
They
dying in a
say
care home? The book?
it doesn't. It doesn't explicitly say. It says that he got out and he couldn't make it as long as anyone thought. Essentially, so to go from that to the film, and genuinely from Brooks getting out to him stepping out of the shot of him stepping out of the prison where he looks so small, and the shot of him on the bus,
Yeah.
where he's gripping the seat in front of him tight as if he's scared just to be on the bus. I was crying from that onwards up until his death.
But like he says, when he was younger,
there wasn't that
he'd
sort of
seen a car before.
Yeah.
So he's terrified. This is going really fast for him, and
Yeah, honestly, shout out to James Whitmore.
James Whitmore.
He was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was great. Small role, pivotal. Anyway, James Whitmore, what a guy, huh?
Yeah, he's incredible.
Honestly, great casting just because of his height. It works really well.
I kind of want to go through the cast because I think
Yes,
everybody is pretty great in this movie,
Yeah.
from the bit parts to
Yeah, a ton
The
of
movie
smaller character actors doing great roles.
William Sadler, who I always think of as from Bill and Ted.
Who's he in Bill and Ted?
The devil.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
He's great. I like it every time he pops up in the movie. Bob Gunton as the warden.
He's great. He's such a
He's such a
yeah,
dick.
such a hateable guy.
Yeah,
He's got a very punchable face as well.
Yeah, he's
I'm sure he's
fantastic.
lovely in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that just goes to show the skill of acting. When you hate who's essentially the bad guy, they're doing their job. They're getting across successfully.
And really want to shout out Mr. Krabs.
Yeah.
Have you been through my notes? I literally described him as Mr. Krabs.
We share a brain cell.
Yeah, we do.
We'll say there was a lot of
Boy, Bob.
SpongeBob, me Bob! Get the fuck out of here! Your ass is mine!
another one, Jill Bellows, who plays Tommy.
Yeah, do you know who was originally cast in this role?
I don't. Who was that?
I don't.
So a pretty big name nowadays. Brad Pitt was
Really?
cast in this role. He dropped out after Thelma and Louise was a pretty big hit. For the best, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think he'd be able to convey that sort of innocence.
Yeah.
I think he's a good actor. Personal life, say what you will. We're not going to get into that. Around this time, he was doing some very interesting stuff. 12 Monkeys is one I think of.
Yeah.
He's very good in that movie. I think he could have pulled it off. But I really like the performance from Gil Bellows?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I said Jill earlier. My mistake.
I don't know if it's Gil or Jill.
No, it is Gil.
Gil.
I'm sure it's
Like
Gil.
old Gil from The Simpsons.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And
Name a woman
What, in this movie?
in this movie.
There's his wife, who's credited
Hayworth?
as his wife.
Rita Hayworth?
Rita Hayworth. Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe.
This is the most...
Raquel Welch,
Well, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because this is the most dude movie ever.
The Thing.
This is more dude. There's
dude.
more dudes.
I'd argue this is more dude.
There are more dudes.
I mean, The Thing has minus women.
Yeah, but what is the thing? Is that a guy?
They, them. in
The
theory.
thing could be trans.
I'm saying I'm going to be possibly the first person to say
Trans thing.
trans thing. Genius.
Anyway,
Ants.
the reason I
They thing.
The reason I want to argue that this is more dude is mainly because from the behind the scenes of how a lot of the cast and crew refer to this as a love story, especially like modeling male emotional bonds between men.
And this can only happen when you are literally incarcerated.
Yeah, I think this is a fucking relevant story even today of just connections between men. And, you know, I like I said last week, I'm one of those people who's quick to jump to, oh, they're close men, they must be gay. But this is one of those films where it's like, these guys are just so...
Gay corner?
No,
Viv?
These guys are...
Joe's Queer Corner. Oh, fuck. Is it Queer Corner?
Yes, Joe's Queer Corner.
Okay, read it back to me and we'll do it.
Joe's Queer Corner, where Joe talks about being gay.
Okay. Joe's Queer Corner, where Joe talks about being gay.
This movie's not... Well, unfortunately...
That was Joe's Queer Corner,
where Joe talks about being gay.
Nicky Marvin does the goat. Does call it a love affair. So she's like, I'm sure she's all for it.
I thought it was super interesting though. After we came out of the movie, we were just like, is this gay? And you're just like, no, not really. And I agree. Yeah. I don't really read this as a queer story.
I don't see her as gay. I see her as a love story.
Yes,
but love
between friends
doesn't have to be sexual.
No, it doesn't. And there's just something about their connections. And I can't remember who said modeling emotional bonds between men. But I do think that is so relevant because I think, unfortunately, a lot of men just don't know how to connect to even other men. And I think how they demonstrate that through this, especially, it's interesting because I recently came off of writing and making a video about male loneliness. And I've been talking a lot about a lot of the issues that people talk about with men is like the whole loneliness, the mental health issues, the higher suicide rates and stuff like that, which again are mostly caused by men in general.
Just say it. It's a skill issue.
It's a skill issue. But that's the thing in this movie, you know, you've got mental health because of course, how could you not in prison? They think that at one point Andy is going to commit suicide. Yeah. And they're all worried for him. Like, and all that worry and all that emotion is between men. And even though, you know, they say it's a love story, and I agree it's a love story between friends. That's why it's so cathartic at the end when, you know, Morgan Freeman's smile when he sees him. When I was watching, because I couldn't remember the first time we saw it in cinema if they hugged or if they shook hands. So I was eagle-eyed of like, at the end, do they hug? And I just see their arms go like really wide. It's just like, oh, they're having like a proper like, you know, bear hug. And
God, could you... It would suck donkey dick if they just like they met up after all the time and shook fucking hands.
Well, originally we weren't going to see them meet up at all.
Yeah, that's true.
We were just going to see the bus go past the end.
That would have been a terrible decision.
Castle Rock, honestly, they were right.
I can see what they're trying to do. The thing is, the novella ends with that as well. The novella ends with, I hope Andy is down there. I hope I can make it across the border. I hope to see my friend and shake his hand. I hope the Pacific is as blue as in my dreams. I hope. And like, yeah, that hope is the main thesis of this,
and
of like staying
the
hopeful.
Blue Ocean,
Yeah, so I can see what they were going for, that same vibe of like, yeah, you don't necessarily know what's going to happen, but he's hopeful, and that's kind of the point. So honestly, maybe they could have had like a Sinners version where the credits start to roll over the ocean, and then for those who stayed in their seats for 2 minutes, then show them reconnecting. I don't know, maybe best of both worlds.
Andy Dufresne, I need you to distract Kang.
I, for one, I'm glad they included the reconnection, but I can see what they were going for not doing it in the first place. I think for general audiences especially.
I think
it sounds like from the offset, it sounded like it was going from like a more art house thing, and then as the production was going along, it sort of it made you realise how like
the movie is a bit schmaltzy.
Yes.
It's a schmaltzy, sincere
That's
film.
not a bad thing.
No, this is what took me a while to get used to, and that because it is like it's very. I don't want to use schmaltzy.
Sorry,
it's
do you want me to get a thesaurus?
Yeah, get a fucking thesaurus. No, it's very sincere, and I know I'm awful. It's just a very specific kind of sincerity that I'm not used to seeing for a while, all executed very well. Because at points it borders for me, like, and that ending, it almost pushes into, all right, this is a bit much. However, I do understand how important it is to have these characters connect.
I think it's really interesting you say that, because I have a note here that I wrote in the week, and I can't remember the exact context. It's after, in my notes, the redeeming featurette, which is where they talk about the modelling emotional bonds between men. And it just says, my thoughts, some people hate earnesty and think of feeling too much as being cringe and negative. And now, of course, I'm not saying you think
That's
that.
exactly what I'm saying.
But I think that's interesting in the sense of you could have that.
I just think sincerity and the smudgy thing is really hard to execute correctly.
I agree. It can be very hard to pull off. And I'm not saying that this is cringe or anything.
I am all for it. I
Yeah.
just want it to be handled with great care.
Yes.
And not be used just to win over audiences.
You know what?
And be a cheap way to like get a cry out of people.
I fully
want it
agree
to be
with you.
fully sincere.
I fully agree with you. And that's why I think what works is, it pulls away just as they reconnect.
Yeah, I really like that detail.
If they had a conversation or something, or like it stayed on them for a
They
while.
fucking lock hands. Like in fucking Predator.
Yeah. One thing I do want to point out is, how do you make costume design work in a prison setting? I think this is done really well.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
There's a point where they do sort of change to more blue tones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
They
did mention
update-
that. And I didn't
yeah.
notice that, but that is like a really good detail.
Yeah. And you see the numbers of all the prisoners. So I've actually compiled the list of everyone's prison numbers. Obviously, Brooks, his number is 30092, which is the lowest number, obviously implying he's been there the longest. Then you have Red, 30265, followed by Haywood, 32365, Floyd, 37102, Andy, 37927, which is different in the novella, and Tommy, who's 46419. I guess it just sort of helps illustrate the passage of time. Obviously, because we know Brooks is the one who's been there the longest.
Yeah.
We know when Andy came that Red had been there for 10 years. 20 years, sorry. So when Tommy comes along, he's 46419. You're just like, whoa, like...
There's been a lot of people in between.
Yeah. People have come and gone. It's like a revolving door.
It is a really nice detail. It helps really flesh out the world.
And especially, I think that's really interesting with the numbers because, they were filming in a real prison. And obviously it would later be torn down, but the prison also has a graveyard on it. That we do see in the movie?
Yeah, we
Very
do see a little bit.
Yeah, with the headstones in that graveyard only showing the prisoners' numbers. So it really just speaks to, the dehumanization of
absolutely.
prisoners. And I think you see that with Andy as well. He asks about the fat guy in the beginning who gets beaten to death. He says, what was his name? And
Yeah,
that's immediately a point of contention. Like, no, you shouldn't.
Yeah,
like,
it sort of shows just like, even like that early on, like Andy has, he's looking for the humanity within these people, and like all the prisoners have clearly like lost some part of it.
yes.
And Andy like later goes on to like help these people regain their humanity.
Yes.
Do you feel that we feel more empathetic to the characters? Because we don't really know, broadly speaking, what their crimes were.
No, there's like a lot of hints for like a lot of them. They do.
Yeah.
Did they explain in the short story like some of their crimes? Because I think they do with Red.
Like,
Yeah.
It was like
obviously, we know the reason Andy's there is exercise.
Exercise. Is that what it's called?
Exercise. Yeah, it's killing your wife.
I didn't know that's what that was called. Everyone in prison is an innocent man. Let me see if they say then.
Well, there's a thing with Haywood where he's just like, lawyer fucked me over.
Yeah. It does talk about other cases, so I do think it mentions like other people. But the thing is, because of the way the novella is structured, the characters don't really get development other than Andy.
Yeah.
Because it's about like Red telling the story of Andy.
But at least in the film, it's not really like explored like what each individual one has done. And I think it's better for that.
Yeah,
like they've
it's
been there a while.
It's kind of superfluous, the reason why they're there.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, they are.
Yeah, they're in this horrible prison.
Yeah.
So they're at least accused of a horrible crime.
Well, that's what's interesting because they make the joke of, everyone there is innocent.
Yeah.
But then Andy is innocent. And obviously, like, most people don't believe him.
He was just under horrible circumstances.
But then who's to say some of the others aren't?
Yeah.
If Andy, because we're like, of course they're all going to say they're innocent, but Andy is.
But it's
so,
really interesting with Red, because he's one of the few ones just like, I'm the only actual guilty one.
Yeah.
Like, he fully admits it, that he did something wrong and he deserves
Yes.
to be there.
And he killed someone, didn't he?
He killed his wife and his neighbour and a child, I believe. But that is not mentioned in the actual movie.
No.
Yeah. But who knows what it could be a cool crime, like tax evasion.
Hey.
Or piracy.
Yeah, stealing from, big corporations, cool crimes like that. Or
smoking weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's to say that Brooks wasn't in there for smoking reefer?
And Red smuggled more in for him.
But it's interesting you say...
If that's what you want. If that's what you like.
It's interesting that you say about, like, how would we feel if we knew their crimes, because with the discussions of, like, this didn't do well because prison movies were overplayed. I did a lot of research in prison movies, issues with the prison films, and it was interesting because I can't remember where I got this quote from, but it said about how the main criticisms of prison movies is they oversimplify complex issues and sometimes even like stereotype prisoners. But then on the flip side, they sometimes humanize people who, like, I guess some people think shouldn't be humanized because, well, I mean, we'll get into like the prison system because I want to have a conversation about that. But then also they perpetuate the misconception that most correctional officers are abusive and prisoners are violent and beyond redemption, which is a funny choice of words from this quote.
Yeah.
That's the name of the movie. And that is something the movie does, where the warden and the correctional officers are vile human beings.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a take. I don't necessarily agree with myself here, but I want to get your take because we're saying about like the crimes that the people
I'm just saying things.
Yeah, the crimes, we don't know the crimes the prisoners committed. One aspect of this movie I'm flip-flopping in between in my head is the ending, because you said earlier about like overly sincere and schmaltzy.
No, that's what I was thinking. Would they get the comeuppance?
Yeah.
It feels almost like I kind of forgive giving its almost biblical nature of it, which I've come to realize. Yeah. However, it does sort of peter on just like, oh yeah, the people who have done evil on screen, they get their comeuppance.
Yeah.
And the people who have, at least to the audience, they have been the heroes, they get everything they've wanted.
Maybe.
They get the freedom, they get the joy.
Maybe for me it might have worked if, like the article goes out, exposes everything. Maybe it would have worked for me better if they focused on the warden, because Andy sent factual evidence of the finance crimes. So it would make sense of, yes, they've got him on that. But the thing is, Andy obviously sent like anonymous evidence of abuse, and I just hate to say it, maybe this is especially just because of the era we're living in.
I don't think it's the abuse that got him down. I think it's because he was cooking his books.
Oh, the warden, yes.
No,
but what about Clancy Brown?
Yeah, with
Do you think
Brown
that as well?
No,
okay.
they did talk about that.
Okay, that might be my misconception. But yeah, it's just the whole idea that they get their comeuppance, and maybe it's just because we're more cynical because the world we live in is just people getting away with things.
I think for the 90s, this is kind of the perfect environment to cook this kind of story.
Yeah.
Because, look, I'm going to get more onto it soon, we come onto reception. Forrest Gump came out this year. That is such a schmaltzy, and with a capital schmaltz.
Yes.
It's the American dream, the movie.
Yeah. And he had quite a lot of these. I'll be honest. I think Forrest Gump is a perfectly good movie. I like it. I wouldn't go as far as to say I think it should have been the best picture of the year.
No, I agree with you personally.
It's a good movie. It's of its time, though. For the 90s, it was kind of more of a time of prosperity.
Yeah.
They didn't have their third or fourth economic collapse.
Yeah.
The middle class was doing fine.
It was pre-9/11.
It was pre-9/11. The middle class were doing fine, so the world is okay.
There was
the grand narrative.
Less of a gap between the middle and lower class.
Yeah, exactly.
I think what's interesting is, and you could say this about, like, it's easy to say of like, oh, this nowadays would be different, because of course it would, because art exists in the time it was made.
Yeah.
It's like a time capsule, especially films like this, where, it's literally a visual and like written replication of a certain point in time.
Yeah. Well, even then, it's a
and it's not even
it's
a long period of time. But I do think it's one of those things where, of course it would probably be different, because just prisons went through a massive change, like over time, that, has led to many issues. And I just think that the climates are different because, again, of social economic backgrounds of general people and general audiences.
Yeah.
That'd be interested if this movie came out exactly the same but came out today for the first time, how it would be received. Because obviously the technical aspects wouldn't change, but just more the how we view prisons.
I think people would want a bit more of a condemning.
Yeah.
Like, not that this film doesn't condemn the prison system, it absolutely does, and the people involved. But I think you'd need, not to get into thoughts on other recent movies, but if you don't say explicitly, oh, I hate this thing is bad, some people are going to be like, well, you didn't condemn it, so you agree with it.
I could see a bad faith criticism of being this, that is like later on in the film, it's like, well, Andy's like working fine in the prison. And like, yes, then he gets like put in the hold for like, trying to plead his innocence and
really
stuff.
Well, I feel is have like emotional highs and lows.
Yes,
It isn't just a constant like downer. Yeah. It does have massive leaps of almost becoming like a rags to riches within the prison walls, which is quite interesting in terms of structure.
I don't know if you feel it's 2 hour 20 odd minute runtime.
Well, yeah, because it's like
I
a lot
really don't either.
Because it goes from like, oh, Andy's in the shit right now, but then he slowly climbs almost the corporate ladder of the prison system, which is fun. It is like that sort of story is very compelling to like a lot of people. Because it does like do like an American dream sort of thing,
and in a weird way, it kind of shows
it does collapse back down where it does get pulled under him like a bunch of times, and then it does like sort of like obviously climax later on with the big escape. It's really interesting.
It is, and I won't go into like all the issues with the prison system yet, but one of the things I read
we want you to go through all of them.
All of them, I will. One of the big things was how reoffending and like prisons, a lot of the time people just reoffend, but what I think is interesting is Andy is basically committing crime inside the prison.
Yeah, like it's explicitly said within the thing, like going to prison has turned into more of a criminal than he ever was.
Yeah, he's cooking the books not only for himself, he's cooking the books for other people, and then he steals that money and commits identity fraud. It's all stuff he wouldn't have done before.
Yeah, he's being corrupted by the very system that is supposed to like
be reforming him.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting because obviously we see that conversation with Red 3 times in his parole hearing of like, are you reformed? And he says, well, that's just a political word. And I agree. One of the things I was during my research thinking about was how, especially with that conversation, what is reformation? Because Red says about how much he regrets doing it, but then is that just because the consequences? Is that, not saying this with Red in general, but with prisoners in general, of course you'd say you regret it because of the consequences you faced, but then it almost felt like they waited until Red had less light behind his eyes. Like they waited until he was like, I don't give a shit, like I don't care.
Is that how you read the ending with like how he goes? So obviously like the film is broken up into 3 segments of each one with him going through like the parole hearing, and 2 times he's rejected, and then finally he is let go. The only difference between like the first 2 is his just completely just like disinterest in what he's doing, and how they see that as almost like a reform. That's
what I mean, and it's almost like it wasn't explicit for me. I feel like I've got kind of 2 similar interpretations of one where it is just like, they can tell from his first 2 that he was kind of putting it on, whereas now he's being himself, and the whole there's not been a day where I haven't regretted it, and that earnesty. But I do also think in a cynical way you could see it as he does seem just way more negative now, and like him saying I don't give a shit kind of says to them of like, well, he probably doesn't expect to even get out, so why should he like, and he's calling them out on their thing as well by saying that word doesn't mean anything, that word is only there to get you people like you in a suit. Like
it is interesting as well that I don't know if it's like the same person in the first 2, but the one in the third is noticeably much younger.
It's just a new guy, and
there's a woman there.
It is passage of time. Women are allowed to be
the 70s now. Women are parole officers.
Good for them. Even women can
work for the prison industrial complex.
Shout out to women.
Shout out to
women. What a girl boss.
It is quite interesting because like if you go with like the more biblical allegory there, and it's more Red is now able to actually like deconstruct the walls he has built around his psyche in order to be defensive.
Yes.
He was able to deconstruct that because of Andy escaping. He's able to realize there is life beyond this. And so he doesn't put up a front for these parole officers. But you could also read it as like, it's just, they read him as just like, okay, this man is broken, who gives a fuck?
Well, it almost mirrors.
We broke him, good job, let's send him out.
Get him out
fucking
there.
Feels like that sometimes. And the thing is, that's essentially what happened with, why is his name escaping me? With Brooks. I mean, Brooks and Andy's voiceovers when they're in the outside world for the first time are very similar, where it's just
it's like a purposeful like repeat.
And they both even say of like when Brooks is suicide and then Red breaking his parole, essentially saying like they're not going to make a fuss about an old guy like me. It's almost as if they know that this is very not cynical, but this is I'm going for a stretch now. It's almost as if they know that they're near their end of their life, and they don't want to go through the trouble of someone who's near death possibly having deteriorating health in the prison, because they would have to deal with that. So they see Brooks and and Red, less so Red, just because he presents a bit younger, but Brooks especially, an old man. And I just think, well, he's no use to us here. Just chuck him at the outside. He's he's not our problem anymore.
Yeah.
And then obviously what that leads to. And obviously Brooks didn't have the hope that Red got from Andy.
Yeah,
and it was that hope then that,
he didn't have the light of Jesus shined upon him.
I wasn't sure how I felt about the religious allegory in this films
I
researched, and then it kind of convinced me.
Yeah.
But then
I think there are a ton of religious allegories.
Yes.
It's just interesting considering, I think, why a lot of people accept this, because I feel as though this is a very
critical.
It's critical. It's a very spiritual film, specifically. There's a lot of imagery that deals with rebirth. Specifically, there's a really good book by Mark Kermode, the famous film critic. He goes into a lot of depth. He did a documentary on the DVD, but he speaks a lot on a ton of the allegories within it. And there's one I really want to speak about, and that is obviously the religious ones, which a lot of people may initially pull back from, considering a lot of the initial text condemns any sort of use of religion as lies. Basically, it's a way to wield power.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes the theme sort of seep in, because it shows that it isn't just blindly beating you over the head with the themes of redemption and stuff. Because Andy isn't, although he reads the Bible, and he's not explicitly a Christian, I don't feel, or at least he doesn't
Well, that was what's interesting from the commentary.
They were scared about the warden
Yes.
coming across as very abrasive to Christian audiences.
Yeah.
But then, he's the villain.
But then I think what helped, and I think Frank Darabont said this in the commentary, and what it made it probably speak to a lot of Christians, is the idea of the warden preaches the Bible, he's read the Bible back to front, but he doesn't...
He's like a false prophet.
Yeah, yes, exactly. He doesn't demonstrate the core beliefs of the Bible.
Whereas Andy is the complete opposite.
Well,
and then you have that really good scene.
He's got that sampler in his office that just says, "His judgment cometh, and that right soon." He doesn't acknowledge what it means.
Yes.
One of my favourite shots in that film is just that when he realises he's fucked up and he looks at that, because that has obviously the double meaning of, oh fuck, I'm going to hell, looking at the sign, and obviously he's looking at the safe with the...
Yeah.
That's such economic storytelling.
And the third meaning, it's his hole in the wall. Andy got his hole in the wall.
Yeah, I'd never considered that.
Yeah, that is just that is one of the best two shots in any film ever. That is just genius storytelling.
It's the cool... Well, it's not a cool shot effect, really, but it's just... You built it up over this narrative, just we instinctively know, just bang, 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 you're saying this...
Yes. And, there's a lot of other spiritual aspects as well that really work. Like in the Redeeming featurette on the Blu-ray, said about how postmodern idea that material things we gain aren't enough. There's something more, otherwise life isn't worth living. And I've always liked that, because one aspect of modern religion, and it's worth me saying that I was not raised religious, I wasn't even christened or anything, but one aspect of modern religion, especially Christianity, just because we're in a Western country, that really annoys me is the focus on money, and how loads of powerful rich people claim to be Christian, whereas one of the only Bible stories I remember hearing while we were in school was about it's easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle than it is to get a rich man into heaven. And I just think that really speaks to, again, the warden is just focused solely on basically using these prisoners essentially as slaves to make himself money.
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot this entire segment within the film about using the prisoners for labour.
Yes, and that's another massive problem with the prison industrial complex as a whole, especially in
modern
America.
Slavery.
Exactly, especially in America, where slavery is against the Constitution because of their history. Prisons just have low or completely unpaid labour. It's prisoners are modern day slaves, especially in America.
Yeah, no, and
you see that
it's just accepted because it's just sort of assumed that whatever reason they deserve this.
Yeah,
this is an act of justice. They can reframe it in any way they want.
A lot of people will just throw them in the hole and throw away the key.
Yeah, well, I feel that's just history, isn't it? It's hard to unlearn that, and people will always hit you back with the bullshit arguments, although I can see where they're coming from, where it's oh, you're against the prison system? Well, what are you going to do with the baby killers? And it's well, I'm not worried, I'm not talking about the baby killers. I'm talking the guy who had a couple of weed cigarettes on him.
Well, the thing is, though, it's just what counts as a crime specifically also gets changed based on values of the society.
Exactly,
and that often is just it's used against people of color, people of low income,
backgrounds,
also.
yeah.
And then it just literally becomes like a new form of
And
slavery.
look, if you got enough money, you can avoid prison and you can become
Literally.
the president.
Exactly.
Okay. We could go on this for days, but read like any Angela Davis
Yeah,
book
well,
about
also,
the prison system.
Last thing
Go
I'll
to prison
say.
yourself if you want a first-hand experience.
Yeah.
Last thing I'll say, I did a lot of research on the Howard League, which is basically a institution in America who have like fighting for changes in prison. They seem to have done a lot. I don't know a lot about them, so if there is any backwoods shit that I've missed, my bad. But they've like had a page on like all the things that they've brought in to like try and make prisons better. They just seem like a collective. And one of the things they said about was overcriminalization, particularly since the war on drugs, but particularly with short-term sentences where people will like go into prison, get out, re-offend.
Well, like
go
one
in.
of the characters embodied, like
Tommy.
Yeah, Tommy embodies this.
has been in prison 3 or 4 times, they say.
Yeah, but like so many prisons are
Overcrowded.
crowded.
And then what is the reformation?
So many people in the prison system. This movie is literally called The Prison Redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what is redemption? What is reformation? Are they the same? I wouldn't say no.
Yeah, because it's not like a redemption in terms of like they feel bad about the crimes. They've always have. It's
Yeah.
more just like...
Or in Andy's case, he didn't even commit a crime
exactly.
until he was in prison.
It's more just like them sort of trying to like break down the barriers of the prison that's built within their own minds.
Yeah.
And like, do you want to say anything more about prison before I talk about this?
Oh, I was just going to say another aspect of that is also the jury system, where it's, you know, it's hard with the jury system because, of course, it sounded like Andy committed the crime, but based on what was said, but it's...
Damn, man, those are a horrible set of circumstances.
But again,
going with
it's
a gun
just-
to your fucking cheating wife. And
Yeah, exactly. And it's that sort of thing. And I can't remember what it was, but there was another piece of media about, like, that basically went into that, about how lawyers spin stories.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's not necessarily that they're lying, it's just that they're
That's their
wording what they
it's
know.
their job to construct a narrative for a
Exactly.
jury to understand.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, what would you like to add?
Well, speaking on transcendence, I want to talk specifically how in the Mark Kermode book about the film, he talks a lot about how art is used as transcendence and is like almost an equivalent to the religious experience in this.
That's really interesting.
Have you ever seen anything about this? It's a recurring theme within the film. Like obviously you have all the biblical imagery.
Yes.
Like the rebirth scene later on when he goes through the pipe and he comes out and then he gets washed in the rain and stuff.
Yeah.
But then like how like them watching Gilda is depicted. Like they're in a church, it's almost like a congregation.
The beam is coming from the heart of the Jesus
Yeah, it's
painting behind
it's
them.
literally coming through the heart of the Jesus. How they play the music and how they're able to transcend through that.
Yeah.
And then finally, obviously, he literally escapes through the film poster.
Yeah.
It's literally showing that art is like equivalent to a religious experience and that you were able to transcend your location and whatever.
That's more of a thing in the book, right?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to add. And that's an aspect of it I really like, without having read what you're talking about specifically, but from my own notes based on the book and then the film, is just how another aspect of Prisoners is one of the great joys of life is art.
Yeah,
and
that gets
they are
stripped.
deprived. Like the idea, I listen to a fuck ton of music. I basically don't do things by myself
name one
without
musician.
listening to music.
Glee.
The Glee cast. But and yet Andy putting on a record for them to listen to is this crime that gets him put in the hole for 2 weeks. Isolation, just for giving them a piece of music. But I do fucking love that he turns it up as well. But
Yeah, that was the scene, like, that was his idea, wasn't it? That
To
was
turn it up, yeah.
Tim Robbins.
yeah, but there was a quote I like from Hollywood Jesus.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
in the documentary.
yeah, the documentary where he says film is therapy, and like he talks about like same with art, about how it is it heals you, and they're not given that chance in prison.
Well, because when you think about it, like, a lot of people say, like, concerts are modern day equivalents to, like, people going to church for a lot of people, because a ton of people aren't religious, but they want that transcending experience. So it's going to the cinema or something. You're congregating with these people you don't understand to experience something beyond yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really interesting take, and I think especially with
You got your
Andy,
Pepsi Max, just like
I
this is
got-
the
yeah.
blood of...
This is the blood of Christ.
popcorn is
If you
the
love
body.
it, it's never a waste.
But even in Andy, how he seeks out that art, he carves those fucking, frankly, incredible rock figures.
He just like has this like hope flowing out through him that it's just able to.
It's like Red says, he walks around the yard like he's at a stroll in the park.
Yeah,
It's-
and
it's his character as well. He's not just chipping away at these rocks to carve them. He's chipping away at the people. He's chipping away at
chipping away at the hole in the wall.
Yeah.
It's and when we were rewatching this, my initial reaction was to sort of recoil in that this feels almost shallow to have this almost perfect of a character. But when I sort of view him as like, he's like Goku.
Yeah. Okay.
He's able to be this figure for a lot of people who are able to connect.
It's not him that needs to go through the change.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking is until I reframed it, that it's Red who's going through the change.
Well, especially because Andy, we know for a fact he is innocent.
Yeah.
So
at least not in the beginning.
Not in the beginning. The beginning does. When you meet him in the book, Red does say he's like the only person at Shawshank I ever believed when he said he was innocent, but it took some time. But obviously in the film, it does frame it where it could be that he did it. But either way, we find out that he's innocent. So perhaps that's an aspect of it as well of, he doesn't need to change in the redemption aspect. He doesn't need to redeem himself because he did nothing wrong.
I can see a version of this movie where it wasn't produced by people who actually gave a damn, and just as soon as he goes out, he starts killing. That's the big twist. Just
it was him.
Oh, it's like that Family Guy bit with with
which
with O.J. Simpson. Oh God,
we're going to be talking more about Family Guy.
Yes, we are. But yeah, well, once that clicked with me, I was kind of just like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. I know Frank has often sort of being like, yeah, you could interpret it that, and he knows it. But I feel as though there's a lot of deliberate.
Yeah. I think he's very aware of how people are going to read this story.
Yeah. And it just pairing with that really tight script, it won me over. This film's really good.
So it premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival on the 10th of September 1994, before going into a fairly limited release of 33 theatres on the 23rd of September. It started adding a few more theatres as the weeks went on. In its opening week, it came in at number 13 at the box office.
Opening week, damn.
Opening week. It peaked at number 8.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Now, for reference...
But this is in the 90s when even
yeah.
I know it didn't do that well, but in the 90s, film bombing now was different to a film bombing now.
Yeah, so it had a budget of 28 million. In its original theatrical run, it earned 18.
That's pretty bad.
It got re-released around the time of the Oscars, which we'll say a bit more in a moment. But in total, it made 28 million at the box office.
Yeah.
So
pretty
not
much,
counting marketing, that's still a bomb.
It's a colossal bomb.
Yeah.
And one thing that we're going to mention with the Oscars in a moment is Forrest Gump, which came out in July, was still higher in the box office.
Damn.
Come September.
Fuck that movie.
Fuck that movie.
I think that's a fight. I think it's a good movie. Okay. Now, knowing the research of this, I'm now anti-Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump
it's also the same year.
23 times more than Shawshank.
Ridiculous.
Forrest Gump was the second highest grossing film of the year behind The Lion King at 677
Wasn't this Pulp Fiction year as well?
Yes, same year as Pulp Fiction.
Ridiculous.
So Pulp Fiction and Forrest Gump, along with Quiz Show and Four Weddings and a Funeral, were nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. Shawshank got 7 Oscar nominations, also including Best Actor for Morgan Freeman, Adapted Screenplay for Frank Darabont, Cinematography for Roger Deakins, Sound, Music by Thomas Newman, which we haven't really talked about.
It's so good.
So good.
Oh,
honestly, the one that does that helicopter shot,
yes, I was
those
thinking that
strings,
just at the
gives
beginning.
me chills, man.
Thomas Newman, I think he's very acclaimed. People know Thomas Newman.
Mm-hmm. I recognised his name, and I know way less cinema stuff than you two do.
He is the most nominated composer to never have won an Oscar. 15 nominations to his name.
Gosh.
For example, he's done stuff like Skyfall, 1917, American Beauty, Finding Nemo, Wall-E. He's got...
A Man Called Otto. Don't forget my dad's.
Oh, I can't forget
Don't
A Man
forget
Called
my
Otto.
dad's favourite movie.
Have you seen the original? A Man Called Ove?
I don't think so.
Is that real?
Yeah. It's a remake of a Danish film. I think.
Based on a book as well. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, and also film editing. It didn't win a single one. It didn't.
As I said in that documentary.
Yeah.
It didn't win any of the Golden Globes it was nominated for. It did not win any SAG awards. It was nominated for WGA for Best Adapted Screenplay, DGA nomination for Darabont, the American Society of Cinematographers actually gave Roger Deakins the win.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Good for them.
So, and from
Good
what
for they.
I've researched, that was the part of the film that got the most awards. But yeah, outside of that, that's all it really succeeded at in terms of mainstream success.
I know it did have a cinema score of A, which is really interesting because it's not like it was not seen because it was not considered great at the time. It was just there was
like Prison Pictures went big at the time.
There
It's
was,
kind of seen as Godfather. They're quite depressing.
I also think based on I don't know, we weren't there at the time, but knowing the theatrical trailer, I don't think it sells the film that well.
No, it's a pretty bad trailer.
I want to check this out after we're done. That sounds
It's mostly the first and third acts of the film. You don't really see much from the middle.
Yeah.
Oh.
And what if it's like, because would you argue this? Would you say it's a prison escape movie?
Does it frame it like that?
I mean, it shows like a big aspect of the escape.
The climax of the film is the escape.
And it's like
the most iconic scenes I feel are from that.
So yeah, imagine if it just like showed them.
I mean, it's literally the poster.
The poster, yeah.
It's literally the artwork that we put out on Instagram to say earlier today when, hey, this episode is out.
Yeah. That poster's kind of cool though.
Yeah, I do really like that.
It's a fantastic shot.
I also kind of want to talk about the poster that was done by Drew Struzan.
The one you picked up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a great
The illustrated one. It's beautiful. I personally, I think I prefer the photo one of Andy in the rain with the golden.
That's fair.
Glowing, just because I think
it's an iconic.
It's a bit of like floating heads in that other one.
Yeah, I see.
I prefer a one singular image personally,
and it is like the iconic image.
Yeah,
I think I wouldn't mind as much because my Blu-ray is the one with without the same artwork on it, and I think I wouldn't mind it so much if it was maybe just Red and Andy, and then at least it's like some less floating heads.
Well, my copy, which is the 4K, really beautiful transfer as well. I'm not going to go into as depth as I did last week with the Christine Indicator one. This is just standard Warner Bros. Release. It looks beautiful. The cover art is so boring.
Yeah, it is. It's just them sat down.
Yeah,
it's just them sat against the wall.
It's the shot where get busy living or get busy dying.
Yeah, saying about other aspects of reception, in a 2016 interview, Stephen King said this was his favourite adaptation of his work.
Pretty sure he says that after every...
I disagree, he definitely did not say that after some of them.
He didn't say it after Christine. We forgot to mention this last week, so just a little side point I want to mention. Christine, he didn't like it.
Yeah, no, but he's wrong.
Yeah, he's wrong. Good movie.
It's a great movie.
But either way, at one point he's like, I like it. I think he has continued to state that Stand By Me is his favourite, but
really?
Yes, I believe so. I might be wrong.
He's got a very strong relationship with Frank Darabont as well, obviously having let him adapt.
Yeah, he came on the documentary.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Stephen King's favourite adaptations of his works, 2024. And it says The Stand, not The Stand, sorry.
The Stand?
The Shawshank Redemption and Stand By Me.
He must really like that, his short stories.
He likes that they named the studio after the place that he ripped off from Lord of the Flies.
But yeah, that isn't the end of the release though, is it?
No, there's famously Shawshank Redemption 2, the sequel, starring
Jason Statham and Morgan Freeman. Yeah.
Do you want to take this, Joe?
I want to take this.
I know you were kind of taken by this.
I saw an amazing AI trailer as well on YouTube.
Disgusting.
That was Shawshank 2, which by AI trailers, it just means it shows essentially an animated picture, where it's like, why are we wasting the energy on this? But that's a whole other thing. But yeah.
A tree was burnt for you to watch that.
The tree by the wall got struck down for that.
Yeah.
It's a good tree.
Yeah.
Good
It's
wall.
gone. It actually got struck by lightning.
It did. That was pretty sick.
And that wall was actually put there by hand by months before production. The Shawshank Redemption 2. For some reason, there's so many AI posters online of Morgan Freeman and Jason Statham, and it's like it looks like it's supposed to be an action movie. I don't know why. Look, I don't understand AI. Okay, I think just a random tangent.
Go for it.
What do you think about the slur for robots?
What was it again?
Clankers.
In Shawshank
like
Redemption?
Not in Shawshank. No, just in general.
Well,
I
people
did-
call
I see people online being just like, oh, these clankers are
I did see a
jobs.
I did see
What?
I did see how I found out about it, and I liked.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm disconnected.
I'm quite disappointed. I found out about it the other day because I saw.
But bear in mind, everybody, I'm saying clankers in the educational context.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, when they come
I,
back to this in 30 years, it'll be like, fucking hell, I said that on there.
I saw a tweet that was reposted on Tumblr that said, "When you answer when you're ringing up a company and a clanker answers the phone," and then I saw a long discussion about it and the languages aspect of it, and I was like, okay, fair. This is where we're at.
Shawshank Redemption got a second life on home video. How about that, huh?
Love VHS.
Top rental of 1995, I believe.
Yeah, and it sort of started the reevaluation.
I think
less reevaluation, more just like audience acceptance.
It found its audience on home video.
I think we have it on. We either had it on VHS or it might genuinely be in the cupboard downstairs.
It's like one of the most common ones, ever now,
it's
isn't it?
it's one of those movies
this.
where I can quite safely go to my parents or go to my grandparents and say, "Oh, I watched Shawshank Redemption the other day," and they know what I'm talking
exactly.
about.
When I was like over my nan's earlier, and it was just like, oh, we went to the cinema,
Yeah.
saw Shawshank Redemption. It's like, oh, that's a good film. And my dad said the same thing. They watched like nothing.
Yeah. And look, they're not wrong.
No,
Ooh.
this is the most likable film.
Co-worker movie.
Yes, it transcends.
Yeah, it's like a co-worker movie, but good. I hate the term co-worker movie just for the.
It's no Bullet Train.
Yeah.
That's a co-worker movie.
I feel as though co-worker film is more something given to a not general audience accepted, but sort of supposed to be film bro, but not good enough to be a film
That's
bro
funny.
film.
I think the only reason I don't like it is because I'm defensive, because I was introduced to the term for our friend Val, who will just say things I like are co-worker movies or co-worker games.
Oh,
So I just think I'm just
I think he's
defensive.
just still hurt over that fucking samurai game getting called a co-worker game.
I like Ghost of
Ghost of
Tsushima.
Tsushima.
It's a good game.
I'm not saying it's
And I was like, after I finished, I was like, this is the best game I've ever played. And then one of my best friends is like, this is a co-worker game.
Fuck me, I guess.
Look, I'll be honest. Sometimes I do judge people on the kind of films they watch.
I know you do.
Like
My
But that's what
cousin-
makes it special. That's what makes us
My
getting
cousin's
together and
like
talk
this.
about this like so fun.
Yeah, I like talking to you about movies. I generally like talking to movies.
I guess so. I find it
Anyone?
frustrating talking about it on such a surface level all the time, though.
Yeah, just like some people are just like, oh, well, why did you? You know, my sister is just like, why did you like this movie? It's terrible. I'm just like, it was really well shot.
I have two comments. I used to, because it kind of harkens back to what I said earlier about me changing my opinions to fit other people. I remember having a conversation with my older brother. In some ways, he's got a lot of the same taste in me. In some ways, it's very different. But I remember me saying like about one of the Star Wars movies, like one of the prequels, like, oh, that's a bad movie. And I don't give a shit about Star Wars. I don't really have a strong opinion either way.
Yeah.
I was just parroting an opinion. And he was like, well, I like it. And I remember that kind of rocking my world of like, wow, you could just like defend it. But then,
Disintegrated on the spot. It was incredible.
but then on the flip side, general media that I don't like, that everyone else likes, does aggravate me.
Well, like yesterday.
Yesterday.
Fuck me. It's
We've
incredible how many times this happens.
We've already told you about this guy. We might have even spoken to
Are we
this
talking
on
about
one
the
of
movie
podcasts.
yesterday or something that happened to
No,
you
we're talking about yesterday when over our friends and we were all together for the first time in a while. We're talking about Clarkson's Farm. I've said many times about how I don't give a shit about Clarkson's Farm. I'm fed up of hearing, oh, I know he's not a good person. And yes, this is a call out. If you keep this in and any of our friends listen, this is a call out. Be glad I bit my tongue. I could have been way more annoying.
I love looking across the room.
So Viv and I were sat on
watching
opposite
you.
ends of the rooms while everyone starts going, I like Clarkson's Farm. And one of our best friends, Meg, I love you so much, Meg, literally says the line, look, I know he's not a good person, but he makes a good show. And I was just
Is she in the room with us right now?
I was just looking at Viv, just...
You officed me.
I did, because I was the second, I can't remember who started it, but the second someone was like Clarkson's Farm. And then I looked away, and then Meg was like, I know he's not a good person. But if this stays in and you're listening, I bit my tongue.
I think you should cut this out. We chat talk like all of our friends in this segment of like 20 minutes.
Who haven't I shat talked? Some of the guys
You
that
shat talk Val,
some of the
Meg,
guys some of the guys that
Duo.
right, some of the guys at Digimon are really sore losers. And it pisses me off because you're older than me. Get a grip.
Anyone
Joe,
else?
I'm keeping all this in. But
Garen, anyone else you want to throw under the bus?
I don't think Bin Laden's a great guy.
Wow. Saddam Hussein, on the other hand. Now that's a fella.
Thoughts on
Actually,
Netanyahu?
no. Actually, Bin Laden had some good stuff on his DS.
Right. How did we get here? Where are we?
Viv wants me to talk about fonts, so I'm just into cutting this somewhere in the episode. What was your question?
Can you talk about the font, please? It's quite interesting.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah? Nothing interesting about the typeface? Why do you think they chose this one for the movie?
So...
Do you know what one it is?
I don't know which one it is. But the closest thing I can sort of see from it is... I've got a little illustration here.
Again, immaculate.
Thank you. So you see how, like, these little parts are coming out of the letters?
Yeah.
For me, at least, when I look at it, it's just like, oh, they're like prison bars.
Is that what you're taking away from it?
That's what I'm thinking.
There's like also like a slight curvature to all of them.
Yeah, it's imperfect. I know the poster on Letterboxd has got like a slightly like the main poster has got like a slight error with how the logo is there, but no, it's a very thin typeface. I don't think it's any like. Sometimes when people make movies, they put a lot of thought into it. Some people just don't give a damn.
Do you think it's one of those cases?
No, I think it's odd because like the sizing of like the and redemption don't really match up. Obviously, there's like different tracking on all the letters, so some have just like squished some of them more. I don't really have a lot to say about it. It's not like Christine, where I kind of want to talk about it. But no, it's...
I was just kind of curious. I haven't seen that font before.
Yeah, it's a nice font.
Well, that's that. Thank you, Garen, for your font corner.
Thank you. So, I was just scouring through the special features on the release that I've got here. And there was something on there called the Shark Tank Redemption.
Yes.
Did you watch this?
I unfortunately didn't have time. I was planning on watching it today, but a bunch of stuff happened that stopped me.
Do you know what
I
it
just
is?
had time. I think so.
It's a short film.
Yeah.
It's a short film. It stars Alfonso Freeman, who actually is in...
Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
he's Morgan Freeman's
He's the
son.
photo.
And he's one of the inmates at the new fish scene. Yeah, it's a short film where it's basically Shawshank, but instead of being in prison, it's like, I work a corporate office job and I hate it.
This
and
is
it's,
literally your life.
Yeah. Well, it's like, oh, I came to Hollywood to like make movies, but I'm here for this company who reads scripts, and it's very inside of baseball, I feel. I appreciate it on like a technical level. It pulls a lot of shots and, lines directly from Shawshank.
Yeah.
Alfonso Freeman, obviously, is Morgan Freeman's son. He looks exactly like him. And he matches the vocal cadence.
Yeah.
I don't think he's as good an actor.
Is he, because I didn't get a chance to watch it, it's a completely separate story. He's not meant to be like a descendant of Red or anything.
No, his name's Fred.
That's really funny.
And he befriends someone called Randy.
That's really funny. Fair play.
It seems like a very hyper-specific thing that, like, if you knew the people, you'd be like, this is really funny.
That's cute, though.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, so the director of this short, she went on to do a load of second unit directing work on some movies such as Ocean's 11.
Ooh. In this household, we love Steven Soderbergh.
We do.
As well as the movie Click, Enchanted, and a lot of TV work.
Good for her.
Yeah. But that's not the thing I kind of wanted to use this segment to talk about.
Do you want to talk about Family Guy? Let's talk about Family Guy. During the film, it had been years since I'd seen this. And yet, as I was watching it, I constantly had to turn to you because the scenes came up. And I was
You're being obtuse.
now you're being accused.
For context, I've never watched a full episode of Family Guy.
Holy crap.
Filthy guy.
I haven't seen...
Filthy guy.
I especially haven't seen any of the Shawshank clips. Every man is sofas. These two were sat on a sofa together, and I was sat next to Garen. Viv was on the other side in my own chair, and I could hear them laughing at serious scenes. And the whole movie, I was thinking, "What are they laughing at?" Just to find out they were laughing because of Family Guy
honestly,
clips in their head.
You cracked me up when Morgan Freeman gets the rock. And he's reading the note and he's just like, do you remember the name of the town in Mexico?
Have you seen that bit?
No, I still haven't.
Okay, so he's played by Cleveland in
Makes sense.
and he just pauses after and he just goes, what does he say?
Crap!
He goes crap because he can't remember.
Yeah.
And then
Don't
it cuts
blame
to
him.
Peter just on the boat, just like, oh, is that him? Is that him? No, no.
Aw.
Just like, oh, if he took that money and left, oh, he totally took the money.
Oh no.
Great episode.
Yeah, it's an episode called Three Kings, and they
Oh, it's
basically
that one.
apparently 3 Stephen King stories: Stand by Me, Misery, and Shawshank Redemption. And it uses the actual score from Shawshank.
Really? That's cool.
It's very well done. It's literally just how do you make Shawshank in 7 minutes. It's got some good jokes in there.
Vagina boob.
I can imagine so Peter's Andy.
Yeah.
I can imagine there's a joke about him not fitting in the pipe or something.
No,
Really? Wow.
No. I think Cleveland's a good choice for Morgan Freeman, not because he's black, but he's kind of got the same vocal cadence where it's kind of monotone and yeah, good.
That sounds good. Maybe I should watch. I think I should watch it because it doesn't just cover that; it covers others as well.
Yeah, I think it's quite entertaining. Yeah, I think we can close the book. That's the end of my notes.
I can put my phone face down.
Is that literally the only other adaptation of Shawshank?
I believe so.
And obviously that is an adaptation of the movie.
Look, what else are you going to adapt? Are you going
I don't know, it's kind of like they hit it out the park.
Yeah, when it's like the top-rated film on IMDb, it's like
do you think
it's like
still,
if they tried remaking The Shining.
Do you think it still deserves it?
On IMDb?
Yeah.
It's got IMDb vibes.
It's IMDb the movie.
What's the top-rated movie on Letterboxd? Is it Parasite?
No, it's. I think it's Interstellar.
It's
not.
Okay, no, my bad. I looked at a list of like people.
It might be Harakiri.
I think
Harakiri.
Interstellar was a list of people's. Like they asked everyone to pick a film. I think it's like in the most top 4s maybe.
Yeah, Harakiri.
Okay.
And then 12 Angry Men.
Fair. 12 Angry Men, banger. Come and see. Still need to see that. I do have it at home.
You need to come and see it.
Yeah. Shawshank is number 8 on that list, actually. We've been overwhelmingly positive about the movie. I think...
Yeah.
I think the movie has a reputation. And whether or not it's number 1 or number 2, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think what matters is it's a great movie.
I think it's a fantastic film.
Yes.
Is it the greatest film of all time? No. But that's personal preference.
Well, exactly.
What is the greatest film of all time?
Girlfriends.
That's a good choice, actually.
Yeah, that's a really good film.
It's no The Wrong Trousers.
It's no Digimon the movie.
We're just talking about our
Letterboxd top 4
at this point.
But yeah, it's like from the reception of this, people have like an overwhelming experience watching this. So it connects really hard.
Exactly. If someone came to me and said my favourite film is The Shawshank Redemption, I'd be like, yeah, completely fair.
Also, you're lame. You're lame as
I wouldn't say that because I think it's okay.
Oh wow, you're so good.
So I think that wraps us off for All Hail the King for this episode. If you want to join us again, we will be back here in 2 weeks. This is a bi-weekly podcast, and we're actually going to be covering a bit of a more recent release.
Yes.
Especially here in the UK.
Yeah. We're going to be covering The Life of Chuck, which is coming out in cinemas in the UK.
It's coming out in about 2 weeks, but we're going to an advanced screening tomorrow.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Which is very exciting. Yeah.
And if you're not a UK listener, it's been out in America for ages, so you can find it online.
I haven't seen anyone cover it.
It did come out while I was in France, and I was like, do I go see it? I did.
Le Life of Chuck.
Le Life of Chuck.
Anything that you want to plug before we do go?
So this will be out not this week, the next week. We've just finished the first season of First Time Flyers.
Yes, we have.
So that essentially
Great
means...
success.
Yeah, we've got 10 episodes.
According by all metrics.
According by all metrics.
Have you finished it?
Within by the time this episode will have been released.
Okay.
No.
Twin Peaks.
We'll have finished recording it.
Oh, okay.
It won't be finished.
Well, we'll be over it. We'll be on to the next
You can join
thing.
us on First Time Flyers, where Garen will have been on it for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Of The Simpsons.
If you like this
Doctor
and you're just like,
I want more of these.
I want
fuckers.
more.
Yeah, First Time Flyers, a TV pilot podcast on your favourite podcast platforms. All the art is designed by a certain someone on this podcast, Garen, who does all the art on all our socials because he's really good at it.
Yes. Hire Garen so he can quit his crappy corporate job.
Actually, that's a really good point. Yes, please. No, I just wanted to shout out the music because last week when we recorded, we didn't, myself and Joe hadn't heard the music.
That's true. The music for the podcast is done by Viv.
It's by
and
me.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
It's really good.
It's okay.
She worked really hard to replicate a certain style of Stephen King's adaptations music.
I tried 2 versions. One with more like organic instruments and it didn't really work. It sounded more like a crime podcast than but I like the retro aesthetic. Any excuse to bust out my sins. So.
Yeah, you did really well. Well done.
If you want to hear more of it, go to YouTube's YouTube channel. I do the music on there as well.
Yes, yeah. Joey Reese on YouTube. I'll have a video out, actually. Hopefully by the time this releases, I will have a video out with more of my thoughts on Christine, So last week, I obviously went into a lot of the queer aspects, but I decided I wanted to make a video talking about masculinity in a modern context. So if you're interested in more thoughts on that, go to there.
And I did the cinematography.
And Viv did the cinematography and music.
I did the music as well.
But if you do want to follow us on the socials, we are on Instagram and TikTok at All Hail the King Podcast. We do also have a YouTube channel where these episodes will be going up, as well as on our regular podcast platforms. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Deezer, basically anywhere you do find your podcasts.
Fab. Is that it?
Perfect. I believe we're finished.
We're free!
Thank you once again for joining us on All Hail the King. We hope you join us next time for The Life of Chuck.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.